Okay, I am so glad to be back and welcome back to my channel. I have not been recording any videos in like the last month, only because of some things that I have been doing, and I've been very busy with work and also some personal reasons, some things that I've been going through and dealing with. So we're not going to get into all of that, but what I wanted to come to you and talk about, I had so many different things that I wanted to talk about when I got back on here, but the main thing I want to talk about today is self-esteem. I wrote it down in my notes because I want to make sure that I'm coming to you with some good information, and I hope that it can help somebody because it has helped me. I know there has been many times when we have gone through self-esteem issues, probably in our childhood, our teenage years, our young adult years, and even as middle-aged people. Um, there's not one point in time anybody can say that they have not dealt with self-esteem, whether it's high self-esteem or low self-esteem, but at some point we have dealt with self-esteem. I think the key thing is learning what is self-esteem, what does it mean, and how does it affect our lives. So, I want to start off by saying we all have our own ideas and opinions about what self esteem is to us based on our experiences. So, we may tell somebody, oh, her self esteem must be very high because she is on point. Or they must have low self esteem because they just so doubtful about themselves. However, we got to look at the word self. Let's break it down. Self. What does self mean? It is an individuality and identity of the person. So it's who you are. Esteem is about respect and admiration. So if you as a person don't have respect and admiration for yourself, then you are experiencing low self-esteem. Now, if you have a respect and admiration for yourself and you are to the point where you think you so good and you a bag of chips, you have kind of crossed a little borderline to narcissism. But we're not going to really talk about narcissism. And that's when you hear people say, oh, they are so narcissistic because they are so full of themselves. That goes higher. That's a whole nother thing. You can't even say that's high self-esteem. That's just something else. Um, However, I looked up the word self-esteem in Webster's dictionary, and it says the self is an individual's character or behavior where we must first know what it means. So, self-esteem is about how you feel about yourself and your thoughts. Basically, that's all it is. How do you feel about yourself? That's why it's called self-esteem, right? When a person has a self-esteem issue, it could possibly affect every aspect of their lives. And sometimes you can trace their self-esteem issue all the way back to their childhood. Now, I know that I had videos previously on self-care and on self-awareness, being self-aware of yourself as an individual, and I'm going to make sure I put that up where you can get the links and you can check out those videos about self-awareness and self-care, meaning taking care of yourself and the things that you need, and self-awareness being self-aware of who you are as a person and as an individual. So self-esteem kind of goes along with that, right? So according to, and I always have to have my notes, y'all, and I try to look things up because I don't know it all. And I want to start off by giving this disclaimer before I go any further that I've said this before. I am a social worker by degree. I'm a lead case manager in a mental health agency. So I am all about things that are trying to push us to be better individuals, being inspirational, being motivational, and trying to find the best you that you can be and the best me that I can be. So I'm all about learning things that's going to take us to a whole nother higher level mentally and emotionally. That's where I'm at. So I'm not professing to be a doctor, so as always, seek out those other professionals. Seek for information for yourself so that you can be educated in the things that you need to know about yourself and about self-esteem. And always, always, always go back and check the information. Check any resources that someone gives you so that you can know exactly what they're talking about. Okay? So, according to research or study at the Mayo Clinic, because I looked them up online, and I will leave their website down below in the description box. They say, I picked about 6 things that they talk about as far as self-esteem. Number 1, identify areas that have contributed to your low self-esteem. So if you have low self-esteem, you need to start identifying what has caused that. Okay, sometimes we have to go back and look at old experiences. Sometimes we have to look at our actions. Sometimes we have to look at the people around us and the places that we go and the things that we do and find out whether or not those are contributing to that. Number 2, be aware of your thoughts and your beliefs. Sometimes we have beliefs that are not right and we have thoughts that are not right. And sometimes the thing we think is correct and what's going on is actually opposite. And sometimes our imagination get away from us and we start to say, oh, we'll have conversation with ourselves. I don't think that that's good. I tried my best. And we start doubting some things. And we got to get off that doubt train. Okay? Number 3, challenge any negative and incorrect information or incorrect thinking. So, somebody comes to you and say, I heard, or I don't think that that's going to work for you. No, you shouldn't get into the t-shirt business, or you shouldn't become a writer because I don't think that blah, blah, blah. Challenge it. If you know for yourself that you are a good writer, that you've always been involved in writing, it's your passion, it's your desire, go for it. Keep up with it. Do the things you want to do that is your dreams and don't listen to anybody. If you know that you've done all that you can do on that job and all your work is correct, don't let somebody else come back and tell you something different because it's inaccurate. Because when they start feeding those seeds of doubts into you, your thinking starts to change. And you start saying, well, maybe I didn't do so well. Maybe I could have done better. Stop. We all want to be a part of critical thinking. We all want to allow critical thinking to move us to the next level. Because why? It gets us motivated. It gets us moving to say, I can do some things better. But you're not trying to do things better based on the negativity of another individual, but based on, you know, that each time you do your work, you want to be better than the time before. Right? You want to show that you have the expertise in that field and you got it. That's when we critically think about how we can do things better, but not in a sense, in a negative way that's going to bring us down and let our self-esteem become low. I want you to get this now. Number 4. Number 4. Focus more on the positive and make good statements about yourself. Say, I have this. I can do this. I'm all that in a bag of chips. Any kind of saying that you want to say, I just like to throw that in there and be a little funny. But anyway, you got to say good things. I can reach the stars, right? I can reach the top of the mountains. Find all the tools you need to get to the mountains. I'm going to be number 1 in my class this year. I'm going to make all straight A's this year. I'm going to pass that test with 100. Say positive things is going to get you to the place you need to be, to build your self-esteem up, right? What we say, to admire yourself. Give yourself that admiration. Give yourself that respect. Because if nobody admires you and respects you, you have to learn to admire and respect yourself. Number 5, always find ways to encourage yourself. This goes back to number 4 on focusing more on positive things. Positive and good statements about yourself. Oftentimes, as I said before, we can go back on the feelings of our childhood and events that have happened that may have caused us to have these type of feelings. Okay? Now, what I want to talk about is how do we increase our self-esteem? And the key is increasing it for better mental health. So that we can start thinking on things that are good and pure. Things that are worthy of ourselves. We have to get to a place where we know that we're worthy. We are worthy people, and we don't have to allow other people to make us feel like we're not. Right? Be realistic in your thoughts. Be realistic in your dreams. Be realistic in how you view yourself. Not looking at other people and their opinions and their views of you. Because every now and then, and including myself, you will let other people tell you things. When you tell them about your dreams, you tell them about your aspirations. And sometimes, excuse me, sometimes people will give us a negative vibe, a negative view, a negative answer. And we are human beings who are always looking for accolades. We're always looking for people to say something nice and positive all the time. But we have to understand, in this world, you're not going to always hear that. So what you should do is start tooting your own horn. Start encouraging yourself. Start doing the things you need to do to make yourself happy. Because at the end of the day, no one can make you happy but yourself. Okay? Number one, positive affirmations. Positive affirmations will help to increase your self-esteem. I already said this. Tell yourself you're wonderful. Tell yourself you're going to do it. Write down these things on a piece of paper. Put little stickies around your room. Get yourself your favorite song that'll sing good things to you. Okay? Number two, have higher values of your worth as a human being. Point being, as I said before, being realistic. We all make mistakes. We do. And we all fall into a line where we're doubting our esteem. We're doubting our self-esteem. We're doubting ourselves. We do different things that kind of put those little negative thoughts in our minds. And sometimes that's just human nature. Okay? So it's just human nature. But we have to stop what we're doing, jump back on, and get ourselves together. Now, when we start to develop those positive things for ourselves to increase our self-esteem, watch how much more happy we're going to be. Watch how much more into ourselves. Then we're going to, once we do that, guess what? We're going to start activating self-care and self-awareness. We're going to bring that into our lives. And then guess what? We're going to say, I'm self-confident in myself that I can do all that and more. I'm self-confident in myself that I can perform this job, that I can do this task as I was asked, and I'm going to do it in a timely manner, that I can treat all people the same. And I never ever want anybody to suffer and go through low self-esteem as I have done. Whenever you have experienced low self-esteem in your life, it's a very, very sad place to be. And you feel like you have no one on your side. And that's when you have to find the tools. And there's always one person that will come and rescue you and encourage you to make it. Encourage you to do better. So I wanted to encourage you today to keep pushing towards the good for yourself. Know that there is worth in you as a human being. Think about your self-worth. Your self-worth is more than a million. It is infinity, right? Nobody can say that you are not worthy of this and you're not worthy of that. Only you can make yourself happy. Only you can set your dreams and your goals. If you got to get to a place where you don't tell anybody about your dreams until you fulfill them, then do it. If you know you're around a lot of negative Nancys and doubtful Dannys, get away from them. Get yourself around positive peers, positive people that will root for you and push you and say, yo, I know you got it. You've always been intelligent. You've always had dreams. You've always been the type of person who's going to make it the most to succeed in our group. I'm there for you. So I implore you to move forward and think about all the things that you need to do for yourself. Start giving yourself positive affirmations so that you can raise your self-esteem. I don't want you to keep low self-esteem in your life. I want you to have high self-esteem about yourself, high worth. Okay? You got it. I got thumbs up for you. And I'm always here. So if you like what I've talked about today, you want to see more topics on how to be more mentally sound, how to keep our emotions going straight, and how just to have a better way of life, please put your comments below. Hit the subscribe button. Okay? Hit the notification button so that you can get one of my videos when I post another one. And hit the like button, because all these things will help me to move forward in this YouTube world. As a new YouTuber, I always say I'm learning, and one day I'm going to be up there with the rest of y'all, people who have y'all 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to get there one day. I am taking my time, but I'm going to learn to be a little bit more consistent with y'all help. So I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be talking with y'all, and I hope to see you real soon. Have a wonderful day, and keep that esteem getting higher, as high as you want it to be. And don't listen to nobody's negativity about you. See ya.